There are two things that are still kind of taboo to talk about in healthcare. The first one of those is everybody dies. As a new nursing home administrator, I had a resident who was 104 years old. She'd been on hospice for 9 years, just kept on going. She'd had a great day. She told me she had a nice lunch and she wanted a nap. So I helped her room and helped get her settled. And she never woke up from that nap. Pretty great way to end a long and brilliant life. The family came and asked me what went wrong. Now, I come from a culture where we hold a wake that includes putting a pint of beer in the hand of the deceased while they're sitting at a bar. I was really unprepared for the American sensibilities towards death. You know, in my culture, as the old joke goes, what's the difference between a Scottish wedding and a Scottish funeral? One less drunk. So often, though, in America, I've seen new nurses or staff just devastated and even leave the field altogether after the first experience that they have with death. In a culture where most people's only experience with someone passing is on television or in movies, and then it's only when George Clooney rushes in just a little too late to save the patient. In those settings, death can only be due to an error or a preventable incident. But the reality is, we are all going to go at some point. And what's important is that when we pass, we get to leave with dignity and with our choices being respected. And that's the second taboo subject. People are allowed to make really bad choices. One patient that I had left against medical advice, and it was really concerning to all of the staff. I mean, they loved him. He was just the most likable guy, real character, hilarious. You know, he'd spent years in and out of rehab, in and out of different clinical trials. In his words, he said he'd been poked and prodded like a damn pincushion. The team had done everything that they could to dissuade him against going home, but he was adamant in what he wanted. Now, even after he left against medical advice, we paid to have some private caregivers go to his home and check on him because we were just concerned about the man. Those private caregivers were the ones who found him the next morning. He'd passed away that night home. He was still grinning ear to ear and holding a big bottle of whiskey. He wanted to be at home. He wanted his whiskey. And you know what? He gets to choose and he got to choose. As healthcare professionals, we save lives. We want to help everyone. We think that we know what's best. But both of these patients lived well and died well. And what that meant was different for each of them. We can educate, we can treat, we can ease pain, we can encourage, we can support. But far more than saving life, we have to honor life. Our greatest privilege as healthcare professionals is helping others to write a part of their story, whether that part is the beginning, the middle, or the end.